Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, guys, this is Chef again, and we're going to talk about the markets and just in general, a few tickers off the watch list that have potential to have some good movement this week. And then also we do want to talk about Tesla, right? I think the main goal today is I want to focus on a few small tickers for everybody because of the RTY, not just the RTY, but there's a lot of stuff that are moving so well that the small tickers need a little more attention, and it's going to be friendly for any small accounts out there, right? But anyways, let's look at this market breakdown real quick. /ES. I'm gonna take off this right here, take off this here too. What I want you guys to see is the level that we're at. We have a weekly resistance here that we talked about last time, and something very important that I wanted to point out for all of you guys is that we did just cover engulf 7 weekly candle bodies. Okay, so look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to show you guys that 7 weeks of being bearish and having multiple volatile days and multiple catalysts and feds and rates, and I don't know what else was going on during that time. All that just got engulfed by 2 weekly candle bodies plus 1 doji last week. Okay, so it's very important to understand like where we're at, how did we get there, and what kind of strength are we going to have moving forward in this next maybe say 2 to 3 weeks, right? The last time we talked about, I gave you guys a potential pattern that can play out if that were the case. Okay, so it almost looks like a big head and shoulders that can be in the works here, which I think a lot of people would say that it's due for a pullback. We're going to head into recession, and this year, because of inflation, it just keeps going higher. It's just going to get worse. So all the negative and above, it's going to be here. So the volatility is something that we got to watch out for. And it's our goal to, understand where something is going to change, where something is going to potentially happen, and how we can adjust and follow the trend versus trying to follow the fear or trying to follow what somebody else is saying. All right. So because we got a nice little doji candle here, I was kind of glad that this did not close red at all, because on Friday we actually came down and we had that, right? So imagine that being a red candle, right? Imagine that being a red candle. This would have gave us a nice little hammer. The hammer meaning that we can lead down to the bottom. The good thing is that we got the doji, and there was some fighting in there, meaning that there are some bulls still here. So the bulls are still involved and the bears are still involved, which is kind of nice. We have indecision. We have indecision on top of a supply zone. All right, remember that. We took out the 7 candles. All right. There's not quite much volatility right now in the market, but we do have Feds coming up this week. We do have some economic events happening, but nothing major that's going to move the markets like the past 7 weeks or 8 weeks. I should say past 8 weeks, right? From these bearish candles, this is what I'm talking about. So I don't think it's going to be too crazy. So I think all the worst just got priced in, and the worst we've already seen and experienced. That we may just get a little more fear here and there, but I don't think it's going to be so dramatic or crazy as it may be. Now, this conversation can change within the next 2 to 3 days, just based on what may happen. And I'm ready for both sides. Okay, I'm ready for that head and shoulders pattern that can play out, where we could just come running on back down, which that's okay, because we play options and that's what we do. We're day traders and short-term swing traders, where we enter one day or right before market close, and then exit the next day right at the open or midday or towards the next 2 days or something like that. So we're considered day traders, scalpers, and short-term swing traders, right? So we take advantage of those directions. Where is everything going to change? Maybe you're probably wondering where you should enter, where to go long, where to go short. Some of you are going to say that if we break here, we're going to go bullish. Okay. I think that just sounds ridiculous because you're going to miss this whole move and you're going to wait till we get up here. So because we have a doji, I like that we have this doji. It makes it very, very simple. The closing candle, okay, right here. This is your entry for a bullish sentiment. If we're above, we're bullish. If we're below, we're bearish. That's how simple this is when it comes to a doji on top of a supply. Number one, you know that we're at supply resistance. So if we start cracking down below this doji, we're definitely going to start coming down. So your sentiment naturally becomes bearish. When we start to fill up above, then naturally the sentiment will become bullish because now this supply has just become a new demand, meaning it's a new support, meaning that we're going to go green all the way into that wick and probably all the way into this new top, right, to the next supply. So the next supply is going to be here. Okay, so 46.85 and this 47.14. You could just say 47.15. So those are that's the supply level that we're going to head into once we start breaking above that doji. And once we come down, we're probably going to come down and retest this bottom at 44.65 and potentially all the way to this 44. All right, so kind of just looking at this little piece here. That's it. That's the piece that I'm looking for the downside. And then this would be the piece that I'm looking for the upside. All right, very simple here. Break above or break below. All right, so the top, let's get a little closer. So there's 45.40 and 45.30. Okay, 45.40 above, 45.30 below. That's how you got to think. That's how it's going to go. Once we come back inside and reclaim it, then let's go above. Once we come back down and reclaim it to the downside, then we go down. So remember this specific level. This is your level right here. Okay, if that's not clear enough, I don't know what to tell you guys. So that's it. All right, that's going to be for the market. Now I don't need all these lines just because I already have my alerts. I'm not really worried about anything else, but I did have this here for myself, which I'm going to keep. So that's going to be a reminder for me that if we're below this yellow box, I'm going to be bearish. If we're above this yellow box, I'm going to be bullish. And my next alert is going to be here, basically. Okay, so I have all the alerts all to the top and I have all the alerts all the way to the bottom. Okay, that's how it's going to be, right? So market open on Monday, tomorrow. I'm going to come and reset the alerts. We're going to see where we're at, whether we stayed flat or, you know, we gapped up or gapped down, whichever one comes first. That's the direction that I'm going to go to. Okay. Hopefully this kind of helps you guys gauge into the markets. And remember, guys, just because we're at a supply doesn't mean we're going to reject. This can automatically turn into a demand. Okay. Just because everybody's talking about like crazy inflation and all that stuff doesn't mean that we have to come down. These stocks will do whatever they want with or without you. And it doesn't care about a bias. All it cares about is who's buying. If there's, you know, 100 buyers versus 50 sellers, it's going to go up. If there's 100 sellers versus 50 buyers, it's going to drop down. Okay. Regardless of what's going on in the world, that's the level that I'm going to look at. That's where I'm going to be going, whether we go up or down. All right. So I'm making that very clear for you guys. Hopefully this gives you a better understanding, how to keep things very simple and how to understand what that candle body is at that specific level. Okay. So yes, this is supply zone right there. See, right on top of it, right inside. Okay. Okay. So for tech, it's almost the same thing, guys. What you want for tech, same thing. You wanted to go over that candle body, just use that candle body, and then use the bottom of that candle body, which is below. You go short, on top, whatever it is, you go long. All right, very simple. The one that has my attention the most for this week is RTY. Let me do this. All right, so this is your big supply. Okay, I put a question mark there because we don't know if this is going to be supply. Well, I guess I didn't put the question mark, so it should be a question mark. Remember that RTY traded range for a whole year. And then it finally broke out to the downside here, and then we're just trading sideways now. I've said this before, RTY has the characteristics of trading sideways, which is not bad. But if you can identify that, then you can definitely trade the tops and bottoms, buy at the bottom, buy at the top, sell at the bottom, sell at the top, right? Basically ride the wave in between. And there's a lot that you can do with IWM. I think IWM is a great ticker that you can trade. If you're wondering why RTY is still there, it's because IWM is the ETF. And you don't have to come and chart this. All you got to do is come look at the price point where it's at, come look at RTY, and follow RTY. And then don't worry about charting IWM. IWM, you just use it as a buy button and sell button to trade RTY because it's ETF and follows RTY. No matter what you do with IWM, the chart's going to look same as RTY. Okay, so follow the future. It's 10 times better. So here, what we have right here, it almost looked like it created a bull flag on the 4-hour, and then it broke to the top side, which was pretty awesome. But now we're coming back inside. So it's the first time, almost like the first time testing inside that's supply. So naturally, what happens every time you test for the first time a big supply or a big demand, it usually gets rejected. So that's what happened. It got rejected. The cool part is that healthcare, financials, and small caps are under the RTY. So we're going to go look at some things right now, right? So anything above 21 is going to be bullish. Anything that's below 21, I'm questionable bearish and questionable bullish. Okay, so I'm literally just waiting for the break of 21, and I want this to reclaim and stay inside. Okay, now why do I think that it's going to be a little bullish this week? Let's go look at XLF, right? So XLF is the biggest one that I am watching this week. Not so much on the weekly. There's not much of a proper pattern on here, but I'm going to show you guys the 4-hour. The 4-hour and the way that the story is told. If you guys don't know, XLF is financials, the ETF, and financials are getting set up right now for earnings in the next, not this week, but the following week. So JPM will have earnings on 4/13. BAC should have it right next. I don't have let me do this. All right, so BAC will have it on C will have it on 4/14. Let's see, BAC will have it on 4/18. So JPM is going to kick off for the financials along with C. And these are like basically like, I don't want to, they're selling off into earnings, which is kind of cool because now it's giving everybody a great dip buy opportunity, or it can literally just keep on selling off into earnings. Who knows? But every time this week happens, there's usually a lot of like selling off, a lot of cooling off. There's not a lot of buying pressure, but if anybody does get in for, anything that's going to head into earnings, it's going to be the run up into earnings. As of right now, it almost looks like it's a sell off into earnings, which is not bad, I guess. And if we do come down to this 127, I will legit grab a earnings play and take it to the long side, right? That's what I would do. But if we can just stay steady inside here, I think it'll be nice. So I'm kind of leaning bullish on RTY for the reason that we do have financials reporting earnings soon and having them cool off. And I know it's going to get a lot of attention. So if we can just hold 38 on XLF, I think we have room to kind of stay range here, build a base. If we can't do that, then there's a high probability that we come to this 3750 area, 3740 and 3730 area. So it's very small numbers and targets, but that's just the way that XLF moves. So I'm kind of leaning towards that way. I kind of want to see a lot of more buyers step into the financials versus the sell-off. But again, whichever one comes first, I'm okay with either one. I am for one in a JPM position. I ended up taking right at the close because I saw these buyers step in. So I saw this retest here. I know a lot of you guys will say that there's a gap right here. I really don't care much for it. I have this here because it's a retail mindset, and I want to get in before the retail mindset gets crushed here. So I want this to go sideways the next few days. I want some range. I want this thing to hold and not really pop. So I wanted to accumulate versus trend. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. You want something to accumulate into earnings because now what's happening is that somebody out there is building a position into JPM before earnings. So there may be a struggle between the bulls and the bears here, but that's okay. Once earnings comes around and it has that base, the earnings will determine the direction of the people who accumulated. That's exactly what's going to happen. So let's just say, for example, here earnings comes and we've been trading sideways, you know, those 2 weeks. This thing has potential to pop or drop, whichever one comes first. But that's what I would like to see in the banks. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but that would be pretty dope, right? So I'm going to keep banks on watch just to see how they roll. JPM, BAC is at a great spot as well. Let's go look at this right here. So your entry is 4160 and the entry on the bottom is about 40. I just say 40 and 4160, right? So 4160 long above 40, I would buy the dip or short it at the bottom. I honestly think buying the dip would make more sense. That's just me though. I like buying dips. It just makes more sense for me. So yeah, I think that's what it can do. So this is going to be friendly for all small accounts, guys, and just make sure to watch that. Another exciting news that happened, if you guys don't know yet, PayPal is going to be joining the financial sector. So it's going to be under the ETF of XLF. If you guys, you know, don't want to take me for my word, that's cool. Please go do your own DD. It's very, very important that you do go do your DD just in case I do get something wrong. We are susceptible to making mistakes and providing the wrong information at times. So please make sure for any type of information that you guys see like this, do your own research, guys. But it is going to be under the XLF now. It's going to be under the financials, right? So you guys do want to search it. I think it's under, I saw it in an article earlier today, but it is somewhere under. But anyways, it's going to be good news. So it's going to be Visa, MA, and PayPal. And I think there was one other one. Let me just double check right now. No, V, PayPal, and MA. That's it. So they're going to be under the XLF, under the financials. So that's going to be great. So with that good news coming in, it's going to add on to the RTY, so the financials, and this thing is probably going to continue moving up and probably give that boost for PayPal and V and MA. So if you guys want, make sure you guys check out V and check out MA. They're both at great spots, but I honestly prefer to trade PayPal on a daily basis. PayPal has been on my watch list every single day since it hit this earnings here and it dropped and it's been at these levels. I've been trading PayPal. I'm actually in a lead position, as you can see right here. I have it marked. This is where I enter my lead position here for the retest, right up inside. So as you guys can see, I'm already green. I have a 130 call for September. And if this thing drops in here with the markets, or you know, if things go bearish, then I'll probably buy some more leaps, probably a lot closer in the money. So this is going to be some good news for PayPal, guys. So for PayPal, I would just go long over 119. Okay, 119 right here, and use anywhere inside here between what is this, 115? 114.50 to 112.50. This is going to be your buy area. Okay, so all this here, this is your buy area. If it comes down here, just I'm buying. All right, so all my alerts are here set. I have tons of alerts for it, and if we ever come down here, I'll have these. Otherwise, I am looking for bullish plays for PayPal on a consistent basis, right? Trade the downside if you guys want. I prefer not to, but whenever I see a red candle, I just see something that screams buy me, right, for PayPal. But yeah, if you guys want to trade this little trend line too, trade the little trend line. But I feel safer over 119 for another run all the way into this 130. I'm hoping within the next 2 weeks we do get up to 130. And I really do hope by this week we hit 130. If we do hit 130, it'll be amazing, and we'll have more room to continue to the top side. But when we get there, we'll get there, and we'll talk about PayPal, and you guys will see me make a separate video just specifically for this, right? So that's good news for the financials. RTY, I think it's going to be great. And just like I said, RTY was holding relative strength the past couple of weeks, guys, that it didn't really move much with the markets. First of all, because we are under that resistance, that huge supply, and it's okay. But hopefully this week we do see some good movement for RTY, all right? The next big thing that I do want to talk to you guys about Tesla. I know a lot of you guys out there watch Tesla. You guys are crazy Tesla followers, and you guys are all over this thing. Okay, that there's nothing else to say about this, right? Other than you guys are on this. There's some good news. There's some good delivery news for Tesla. They do have some good news about a stock split happening. Another stock split, by the way, that's potentially going to be paying out dividends. But like I said, guys, make sure you guys do your own due diligence on this. The deliveries hit some great numbers again. So there's going to be a high probability that Tesla is probably going to gap up at the open, and it's going to create some momentum. It's going to create some buying pressure across the board. And it is under the S&P 500, guys. So remember that, okay? So it does give the market some push. So this is your level right here. This 1117, all right, or 1115 or 11120 or 18 or whatever it is, all right? But that's your top right here, okay? That 1115, that 1116. If you guys want to do 1120, that's fine. But anywhere inside here, this is your top. At one point, this is like a head and shoulders type of thing. If you guys don't see it, let me draw it out for you. So at one point, this head and shoulders actually played out. Now look what we're actually doing now. One thing that I always say is that whenever we have a major resistance or a major demand, if you have a pattern right above it or right below it, it's going to give it that much more strength to either break above or break below or bounce above or get rejected, whatever the case may be. In this case, what do we see? Do I really got to tell you guys what I see here? Or can you guys figure that out? Okay, I'm assuming you guys can figure that out. So pre-market, what's going to happen here? One or two things. We're either going to drop heavy or we're going to push above heavy. By that time, the pattern is already breaking above. So what happens when you naturally get a pattern break above? Whenever you see any pattern break above, it's always followed by a retest and then the continuation. So you got to ask yourself here, how is it going to look pre-markets? All right, because this technically can gap and go. Gap and go meaning that even though we have a pattern breakout, no retest, is just literally going to open here and then just continue on running on up. That's exactly what it may look like if it's a gap and go with that type of strength, with that type of momentum and hype because of the delivery numbers, the stock split, I mean, a bullish markets and all the above. Your first target for the break above, so this 1120, we're just going to say 1120, guys, all right? First target is going to be right here, 1150, and then from there, that 12, okay? That's what we're going to look for, those psychological numbers. So if you guys are trading Tesla, okay, here we go. We break that 1120, 1150, and then 1200. Keep it psychologically because that's what's going to happen. That's what's naturally going to happen to something, a ticker like Tesla. It's a huge mover. It moves on momentum. It has a cult following. Sometimes it moves with or without the market, and you guys know the moves are aggressive. So if we close anywhere above, anywhere like this, I would honestly swing it all the way into that 12 within the next like 2 to 3 days. All right. Tesla can do whatever it wants. It can probably go and then, you know, come inside here and kind of have a inside day and then go the next day. And most likely if that news catalyst is going to be great for Tesla, then that's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to run it all the way to the top and then all the way to that 12, right? So look out for a huge move on Tesla. If that's the case, hopefully it doesn't gap up too much at the open, so you guys can get a good entry anywhere inside here. It's going to be really great. So hoping we open anywhere in here, it's going to be great. Go long over that 1120. Once if you're asking me if it's still good to go long over 1120, what did I just say? It's probably going to be a gap and go, and it's going to go to that 1150 all the way to that 1200, right? So very simple. So if you guys don't have the big account to trade Tesla, make sure you guys trade ARK. Okay, I am actually in a lead position for ARK as well. I have an 80 call for, I think 2023, I believe it was, but I did pick it up on Friday. I saw that it was showing some strength, so I just grabbed it. Yes, January 20, 2023, I have an 80 call position here. I think if Tesla continues to run the way that it is, ARK can potentially lead all the way into that 80 level within the next like 3 weeks. Imagine that, entering a lead position, and within the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're already in the money. I think that's pretty awesome if you ask me. And it's almost the same scenario with PayPal. But yeah, I have a position for ARK, and the biggest thing, guys, that you guys should be watching for is ARK as well. Anything under the ARK, you guys should be looking to go long on some of those positions, because there's still a lot of buying pressure on things like Roku, ZM, U, TDOC, even SQ. I think PLTR is under it as well. So PLTR, tons of tickers under the ARK sector that can benefit you guys in the long run, because now you know that these tickers have great reward versus risk, because the risk to the downside is very minimal. These tickers are beat down, the sector is beat down. Cathie Woods is probably hurting right now, and I'm telling everybody, just come in here, start buying these dips to help out Cathie Woods. I think she needs a little more support for her buying these tops in the market. I think Tesla is the only thing that's holding her account balance in the green somehow, some way. But hopefully I'm wrong. It's just me sending some random opinions and statements. But anyways, yeah, I think ARK has some great potential. Follow the pre-market highs here, the high of the day, the previous day, and just go long. 68, 70, 72, even as high as 73.50. I want to look for the 75 by the end of the week, if that's even possible. It's going to be nice if Tesla can just keep on running. So look for good momentum all over the ARK sector, right? So great news again for PayPal. Great news for Tesla, guys. Tesla's going to be the biggest thing that's going to be on watch this week. Also check out the smaller tickers as well. F, okay, just like I said, small accounts. It's at a great spot right here. Here you go, some demand for F. So anything over 1660, it's going to be long. All right, very simple. 1660, let's go long, ride it all the way to this 1725, 1750 is a small ticker. So keep it very, very simple. GM is going to be the other one. I think this one's at a great spot as well. I think it has room for like another leg down, which is fine. But it's right here. This is kind of like what I'm looking for. So anything over 43 or dip buy at 42, it's going to be a great spot to buy. Okay, so breakout 43, dip buy anywhere down here at that 42. It's going to have some good little momentum. So GM and F for small accounts. Just watch the sentiment with Tesla. Make sure that these guys are in some buying pressure, in some buying volume, some buying momentum, things like that. Right. Another small ticker here I want to show you guys is going to be Lyft. It's been setting up for quite some time already, and I had this on the watch list last time, but nothing really happened. I actually had entered here with the hopes that this thing would break above, because it closed in a supply with some strength, with some buyers that had came in. So it actually had some real good news. And then they dropped it the next day, and then the next 2 days I was right on my position. But then as soon as I saw it go up right here, I added and ended up selling right here at this top for Lyft. So I got out green on that position, even though I was red for like 2 days. So what it's doing right here, it's kind of just consolidating here, okay, and it's getting tighter These bottoms keep getting bought up, but as you can see, they're higher lows, which is great. So let's see if it can do that this week again. Let's see if we can hold anywhere inside here so we can build that momentum to actually break over this like 39, this is 38.70 and 39.30 area. So we can start heading into this 42. I mean, I would love to see a nice run up for Lyft because it's a small cap, it's a small ticker. So anyone who has a small account can wait for this setup. Imagine, you guys, if you guys had $1,000 account, right? And you guys waited for this, you know, specific setup for the squeeze to actually break out, and you entered, you know, a great size position for your 1K account, and you rode it all the way to this 42. That's a decent gain, if you ask me. You can legit grow your account by more than 50% if you were to take that position on some, you know, some weekly contracts and maybe a swing trade contract. If you were patient enough to just wait for it, okay. You don't have to trade every single day, and you have to remember that you don't have to trade every single day, especially if you have a small account and you're trying to grow it. All you can do is be patient and wait for that specific setup that could give you a good trade, guys. All right, so keep Lyft on your watch, guys. I think this is very important to hold some alerts here, even if you don't have it on your monitor every single day. At least set the alerts, guys. Set the alerts and be ready for this, because I can't sit here and call it out for you guys, but you guys can set the alerts because the setup is there, right? So the other one is going to be Starbucks. I've been trading Starbucks since these bottoms down here. I took a couple losses down here, but then my wins were a lot bigger. So I want you guys to see here how the accumulation is heavy right here for the supply. Look how heavy that supply is. All right, let me get a little. All right, the meat of the bone is like right there. All the meat of the bone, all those candles, right? And then we rejected from that like 95. I'm going to use that whole number. And then we just started trending on down. So we created this nice little, you know, downtrend here, right? Nothing perfect, but you guys see, and we created a downtrend. So now what's happening is it looks like it changed price action. Okay, they had this nice pattern here, nice pattern, nice squeeze here. Okay, and then the accumulation happened here. Hopefully you guys see that, and then it popped. This is where I was able to swing Starbucks here, and I ended up being green on my position. So now we're here again. And like I said earlier, whenever there's a pattern below a supply, or whenever there's a pattern on top of a demand, it gives it that much strength. Whether it's going to reject or break above, that's going to depend on the alert. Who cares what the bias is? Who cares what the news is? You know, who cares about all those extra things? All that matters is that we have a setup below a supply. So we're going to look for the break of 92. Anything over 92, I'm going to target 95. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Anything over 92, I'm going to target 95. Maybe you guys are wondering why I'm not targeting these, because these are smaller resistance points. The supply is at that 95. Okay, that's why. So from 92 to 95, guys, that's going to be a great swing trade if you guys wait for this specific trade. All right. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to leave you guys with that. I think that's more than enough tickers for you guys to even look at. Remember, PayPal, Lyft, Starbucks, financials, and Tesla are going to be the biggest watch this week, guys. I know there's a lot more out there, and there's a lot more people out there who are posting videos, and they're giving you guys a lot more information and things like that. But I like to keep a small watch list just because of focus is a lot smaller and it's a lot more consistent. And if you can find more consistency with a smaller list, and you know, take full advantage of those specific tickers, it can give you a better growth versus trying to day trade every single day and, you know, trying to make thousands of percentages, trying to get rich quick, when in reality you're still missing the consistency and lacking the discipline to find those great setups, guys. All right, so I'll leave you guys with that. Let me just show you a couple more tickers that have setups that I will personally be looking at. All right, but other than that, that's it for me, guys. So here's Disney. I'm gonna give you guys Disney. I'm gonna give you guys just exactly where it's at. Here's the demand. Okay, so my entry point is going to be around this 136, and then my target's going to be around 140. HD, potential double bottom here. Okay. Potential double bottom for HD. Low is at a demand. So lows, I think anywhere above 204, it's going to be a long. Anywhere below 201, it's going to be a short. Sorry, 201.40. But I am honestly, personally, I think I may just buy it at open tomorrow, as long as we're in here, anywhere in here. So HD and low are top watches for me for tomorrow. U is just the other one, like I told you about ARC. This has a nice little like channel. So if this channel can just break here, even just a psychological 100, I'm gonna go long, and I'm gonna shoot for 105. So I'm shooting for a $5 move tomorrow. Etsy is another one that's setting up as a pattern. So as you can see, higher lows, and I just want Etsy to hold this as a base, just right here, and then go long over 128 to be safe. 130 reclaim as first target, and then 135 as second target. And then by the end of the week, I wanted to close anywhere in that trend line here. Okay, just so the bigger pattern can actually play out. Okay, so those are the next tickers that I will be watching personally, and hopefully you guys make some money off those. If not, that's cool. Just make sure you guys pay attention to /ES. It's the biggest thing out of the week this week. Remember, come in here, give you the levels again. 45.40 above, we're long. Okay, 45.30 short, we're bearish. Okay, very, very simple here to understand, guys. All right, hopefully you guys get this. One of the first targets, 45.05. The bottom one will be 44.50 down here. In the top, I will be looking for 46, 46.25, even 46.50, and honestly looking for all-time highs pretty soon. So we'll see what the market does, guys. Be aware there is some economical events happening, and remember, don't get biased. Don't get biased into it nor after it. Just follow the direction. If the candle is green, go long. If the candles are red, go short. Keep it very simple. All right. Good luck today, guys. Make sure you guys watch Tesla. The great numbers. Let's see if this thing can actually freaking run, right? So I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay green, stay disciplined, stay structured, guys. And remember to manage your risk properly. All right. See you guys on the next one.